Hey there, it's so good to see you today. Let me ask you something that's been on my mind. Have you ever crawled into bed early, slept a full 8 hours, and still woken up feeling like you've been hit by a freight train? Or maybe you've noticed that around 2 o'clock in the afternoon, you're suddenly so tired you can barely keep your eyes open, even though you haven't done anything particularly strenuous. If you're nodding right now, I want you to know something important. You're definitely not alone in this. A few years back, I started noticing a pattern in my conversations with friends, in senior community forums, and in the comments section of my videos. People kept saying the same thing: I'm always tired, and I have no idea why. At first, I thought, well, that's just part of getting older, right? But something about that explanation didn't sit right with me. So I started digging deeper. I talked to doctors, nutritionists, sleep specialists, and most importantly, I listened to hundreds of stories from folks just like you. And what I discovered was pretty eye-opening. There are specific reasons why so many of us over a certain age feel constantly drained. And here's the kicker: most of these reasons have absolutely nothing to do with the aging process itself. Today, we're going to walk through 13 surprising energy thieves that could be stealing your vitality right out from under your nose. These aren't the usual suspects you hear about. I'm not going to tell you to just go to bed earlier or drink more coffee. No, these are the hidden culprits that nobody seems to talk about. I think you'll find yourself saying, wait, that sounds exactly like me, more than once during this video. And the best part? For each of these energy drains, I've got practical, doable solutions that real people have used to get their spark back. So settle in, maybe grab a glass of water. You'll understand why in a minute. And let's figure out why you're feeling so tired all the time, and more importantly, what you can do about it. Getting water. What, you're not drinking enough water? Yes, even when you think you are. Let me tell you about my friend Martha. She's 72, sharp as a tack, and was complaining about feeling foggy and tired all afternoon. When I asked about her water intake, she proudly told me, I have a big glass with breakfast and another with dinner, plus I have tea in the afternoon. That sounds reasonable, right? Except when you do the math, that's maybe 30 ounces of fluid in a 16-hour day. For context, her houseplant was getting more hydration than she was. Here's what happens. As we age, our thirst signals get dramatically weaker. That parched feeling you used to get in your 40s, it's now more like a faint whisper that's easy to ignore. By the time many seniors feel thirsty, they're already in a state of mild dehydration. And mild dehydration is an energy vampire. When you're even slightly dehydrated, your blood volume decreases, which means your heart has to work harder to pump oxygen and nutrients throughout your body. Your brain cells can't function optimally, your muscles feel heavier, and that brain fog that makes you forget why you walked into the kitchen, that could be dehydration talking. A geriatric nurse once told me about an 80-year-old patient who was being evaluated for dementia. The family was devastated, preparing for the worst. After running tests, they discovered she was just chronically dehydrated. After a week of proper hydration, her dementia symptoms virtually disappeared. Her family couldn't believe the transformation. Now, I know what you're thinking, but if I drink more water, I'll be in the bathroom every 20 minutes. I hear you. No one wants to map out their day around bathroom locations, but here's the trick. Sipping water consistently throughout the day is very different from chugging a large amount at once. Try keeping a small glass or water bottle within arm's reach and take small sips every 15-20 minutes. Your body can absorb this gradual intake much better, and you'll have fewer urgent bathroom trips than if you down a whole glass at once. Another tip from a clever 78-year-old I met: she flavors her water with frozen berries instead of ice cubes. As they melt, they add just enough flavor to make the water more appealing, but without added sugar. Remember, hydration isn't just about water. Many fruits and vegetables are water-rich too. Watermelon, cucumbers, oranges, and bell peppers can all contribute to your hydration status while providing valuable nutrients. The difference proper hydration makes isn't subtle. One gentleman told me he thought his perpetual afternoon slump was just getting older, until his doctor suggested tracking his water intake. After 2 weeks of proper hydration, he said it was like someone turned the lights back on in his body and brain. 2. You're doing too much sitting around and calling it rest. And here's something counterintuitive. Sometimes the more you rest, the more tired you feel. Sounds backward, doesn't it? But there's real science behind this paradox. I remember chatting with Harold, a 76-year-old retired accountant who was puzzled by his constant fatigue. I spend most of my day relaxing, he told me. I watch the news, read the paper, maybe do a crossword. By dinner, I can barely keep my eyes open. How am I tired when I haven't done anything? This is where we need to distinguish between rest and sedentary behavior. True rest rejuvenates you. Sedentary behavior, sitting for long periods, actually depletes your energy reserves. When you sit for extended periods, your muscles begin to atrophy, your metabolism slows down, and your circulation becomes sluggish. Your body essentially begins to shut down non-essential functions to conserve energy. It's like your system is saying, well, if we're not going to move, why bother maintaining all this energy? The human body wasn't designed for prolonged stillness. We're meant to move regularly, even if it's gentle movement. Every time you stand up, stretch, or walk, you're sending signals to your body that say, we're active. Stay alert, keep the energy flowing. One study found that older adults who broke up their sitting time with even short bouts of movement had significantly more energy and better cognitive function than those who sat continuously. It's not about exercising vigorously. It's about preventing the energy drain that comes with prolonged stillness. A retired postal worker shared her strategy with me. She sets a kitchen timer for 50 minutes. When it rings, she gets up, walks around her apartment, waters a plant, folds a few clothes, anything to move for about 10 minutes. Then she returns to her reading or TV show. It's like giving myself little energy boosts throughout the day, she explained. I don't feel like I'm nodding off by 4 p.m. anymore. Even simple activities count. Stretching while you watch TV, marching in place during commercials, doing a few countertop push-ups while waiting for the kettle to boil, or taking a slow stroll to check the mail. These small movements keep your circulation active, your muscles engaged, and your energy levels more stable. As one physical therapist beautifully put it, motion is lotion for the body. Movement lubricates your joints, pumps fresh blood to your brain, and reminds your body that you're still an active, vital being who needs energy to function. So the next time you find yourself feeling inexplicably drained after a day of taking it easy, try, paradoxically, adding more movement to your rest. You might be surprised to find that the less you sit, the less tired you feel. 3. You're carrying silent stress, and it's heavier than it looks. Let's talk about something that affects nearly everyone but remains largely invisible. Silent stress. This isn't the obvious kind of stress that comes with major life events. It's the quiet, persistent worry that hums in the background of your mind day after day. I met Elaine at a senior center where I was giving a talk on wellness. She approached me afterward, looking confused. I don't understand why I'm so tired all the time, she said. I'm retired. My mortgage is paid off. My kids are doing well. I should be enjoying my golden years, but instead, I feel constantly drained. When we talked more, Elaine realized she was carrying a heavy load of silent stressors, worrying about her health deteriorating, fear of becoming dependent on others, concern about outliving her savings, grief over friends she'd lost, and anxiety about world events she couldn't control. None of these were acute crises, but together they created a constant state of low-grade stress that was exhausting her from the inside out. Silent stress is particularly insidious because it doesn't announce itself. You might not even recognize it as stress, but your body doesn't distinguish between a dramatic crisis and persistent worry. It responds physiologically to both. When you're under chronic stress, your body continuously produces stress hormones like cortisol. These hormones are meant for short-term emergencies, not constant deployment. When they remain elevated for long periods, they interfere with your sleep quality, impair your immune function, alter your digestion, and you guessed it, deplete your energy reserves. A retired therapist in one of my support groups describes silent stress as running your car engine in park. You're burning fuel, generating heat, and wearing out parts, but you're not going anywhere. No wonder you're exhausted. The good news is that acknowledging this silent stress is the first step to relieving it. Simply recognizing that yes, even without obvious problems, you might still be carrying significant stress can be tremendously validating. From there, stress management becomes personal. Some find relief in meditation or prayer. Others benefit from journaling or talking with friends. Physical activities like Tai Chi, gentle yoga, or even just a regular walking routine can help dissipate stress hormones. One creative solution came from a 75-year-old former business executive who created what she calls a worry window. She allows herself 20 minutes each day to actively worry about everything on her mind. She writes it all down, considers worst-case scenarios, and brainstorms potential solutions. When the time is up, she closes her notebook and reminds herself that she's done her worry work for the day. She reports that this contained approach prevents worry from leaking into her entire day. Another gentleman found relief through volunteering at a local animal shelter. When I'm focusing on the needs of these animals, he explained, my own worries take a back seat. And seeing their simple joy reminds me to appreciate the moment instead of fretting about the future. Silent stress might be invisible, but its effects are very real. Acknowledging it isn't admitting weakness. It's recognizing a genuine energy drain that deserves your attention. By finding ways to manage this background stress, you might discover energy reserves you didn't know you still had. 4. You're eating foods that secretly drain you. We all know that food is fuel, but did you know some foods actually drain your energy rather than boost it? It's true, and many health-conscious seniors are unwittingly eating energy-depleting meals while wondering why they feel so tired. Take my friend Richard, for instance. At 68, he prided himself on his healthy breakfast: a glass of orange juice, a bowl of instant oatmeal with brown sugar, and whole wheat toast with jam. He couldn't understand why he was nodding off by 10:30 every morning. When a nutritionist analyzed his breakfast, the problem became clear. His supposedly healthy meal was essentially a sugar bomb. The juice, the instant oatmeal, and the jam all converted rapidly to sugar in his bloodstream, causing a dramatic spike and then an equally dramatic crash right around the time he was falling asleep in his recliner. Many foods we consider healthy or harmless are actually stealing our energy through several mechanisms. First, there's the blood sugar roller coaster. Simple carbohydrates, like white bread, sugary cereals, pastries, and even some healthy granola bars, cause your blood sugar to spike rapidly. Your body responds by pumping out insulin, which often overshoots the mark, leaving your blood sugar lower than before. The result? That all-familiar energy crash that makes you crave a nap or another sugary snack to temporarily boost your energy again. Then there are inflammatory foods. Many processed foods contain ingredients that trigger inflammatory responses in the body. Chronic inflammation is like having your immune system stuck in overdrive, and it's incredibly energy intensive. Foods high in trans fats, refined oils, and certain additives can keep this inflammatory response active, depleting your energy reserves to fuel the body's defense systems. Don't forget food intolerances. As we age, our digestive systems often become less tolerant of certain foods. Dairy, gluten, or specific additives might cause subtle digestive distress that doesn't manifest as obvious symptoms, but still requires significant energy for your body to manage. One striking example came from a 73-year-old woman who eliminated gluten after decades of consuming it without obvious problems. I didn't have celiac disease or any dramatic symptoms, she explained. But within 2 weeks of giving up gluten, I had more energy than I'd had in years. My brain fog lifted, and I stopped needing a nap every afternoon. So what should you eat instead? Focus on foods that provide steady, sustained energy. Think of the difference between kindling and logs in a fire. You want the slow, steady burn, not the quick flare-up that rapidly turns to ash. Protein-rich foods help stabilize blood sugar and provide lasting energy. Good sources include eggs, fish, lean meats, beans, lentils, and nuts. Healthy fats from avocados, olive oil, and fatty fish also provide sustained energy without the crash. Complex carbohydrates found in whole grains, sweet potatoes, and legumes are broken down more slowly, delivering glucose to your bloodstream at a steadier rate. And don't forget the fiber in fruits and vegetables, which slows digestion and helps prevent those energy-draining blood sugar spikes. A retired nurse I know revolutionized her energy levels by making one simple change: adding protein to every meal and snack. "I used to have toast with jam for breakfast," she said. "Now I have toast with almond butter and a hard-boiled egg. The difference in how I feel by lunchtime is remarkable." Remember, the goal isn't to eliminate all carbohydrates or obsess over every bite. It's simply to recognize that not all foods affect your energy the same way, and making strategic adjustments can have powerful effects on how you feel throughout the day. 5. You're not getting deep sleep, just light dozing. "I sleep 8 hours every night," Barbara told me, "but I wake up feeling like I haven't slept at all." Her complaint is among the most common I hear from folks over 60, and it points to a crucial distinction many people miss. Sleep quantity is not the same as sleep quality. You might be in bed for 8 hours, but if you're not reaching those deep restorative stages of sleep, you're essentially just resting with your eyes closed. And while that's better than nothing, it doesn't provide the rejuvenation your body and brain desperately need. Sleep architecture, the structure of your sleep cycles, changes as you age. You naturally get less deep sleep and REM sleep, the phases where your body repairs tissues, consolidates memories, and clears out waste products from your brain. This shift is normal to some extent, but when deep sleep becomes severely limited, fatigue becomes inevitable. One gentleman I spoke with was convinced he slept soundly through the night because he didn't remember waking up. His wife, however, told a different story. He tossed and turned, snored, and had periods where he seemed to stop breathing momentarily, followed by gasping. A sleep study revealed he had sleep apnea, a condition where breathing repeatedly stops and starts during sleep. "After I started using a CPAP machine," he told me, "it was like I'd been living in a fog for years without realizing it. Suddenly the world was in sharper focus and I had energy I hadn't felt in a decade." Sleep apnea is just one of many sleep disruptors that can fragment your sleep without you being aware of it. Others include restless leg syndrome, pain from arthritis or other conditions, medication side effects, nighttime bathroom trips, and even something as simple as a too warm bedroom or a mattress that's past its prime. Environmental factors play a huge role too. That TV you fall asleep to? The blue light it emits suppresses your natural melatonin production, the hormone that signals your brain it's time to sleep. The same goes for smartphones, tablets, and computers. Even small amounts of light from digital clocks or outside streetlights can interfere with sleep quality. Noise is another culprit. One woman discovered her sleep quality dramatically improved after she realized her old refrigerator was making subtle but disruptive noises throughout the night. After replacing it, she said, "I never knew how much that background noise was affecting me until it was gone." Temperature matters too. Our body temperature naturally drops during sleep, and a cool room between 60–67 degrees Fahrenheit facilitates this process. Many seniors keep their bedrooms too warm for optimal sleep. So what can you do to improve sleep quality? Start by evaluating your sleep environment. Make your bedroom as dark, quiet, and cool as possible. Consider blackout curtains, white noise machines, or earplugs if needed. Establish a consistent sleep schedule, going to bed and waking up at the same time each day, even on weekends. This helps regulate your body's internal clock. Create a calming pre-sleep routine. A retired school principal shared her ritual with me. "Every night, I make a cup of chamomile tea, turn off all screens, dim the lights, and read something pleasant. Never the news. For 30 minutes before bed. It signals my body that it's time to wind down." If you suspect a medical condition like sleep apnea or restless leg syndrome, talk to your doctor. These conditions are common and treatable, but only if diagnosed. Remember, quality sleep isn't a luxury. It's as essential to your health as food and water. When you truly sleep well, you'll know it by how you feel during the day: alert, focused, and energetic, not just barely getting by. 6. You're not spending enough time outside. When was the last time you felt the sun on your face? Not through a window, which filters out beneficial rays, but actual, direct sunlight? If you're like many seniors, the answer might be not recently enough. The indoor lifestyle has become so normalized that we barely notice it anymore. Days can pass where our only outdoor experience is walking from the house to the car. This indoor existence seems harmless enough, but it's actually draining your energy in surprising ways. Here's why. Humans evolved outdoors under natural light cycles for millions of years. Our bodies are literally programmed to respond to natural daylight. When morning sunlight hits your retinas, it triggers a cascade of hormonal responses that regulate everything from alertness to metabolism to mood. Without that sunlight exposure, these rhythms get disrupted, leaving you feeling sluggish and out of sync. Doris, an 82-year-old former librarian, told me her energy transformation story. After my husband passed away, I barely left the house for months. I was tired all the time and assumed it was depression or just getting older. My daughter finally convinced me to join her morning dog walks. Within 2 weeks of getting outside for 30 minutes each morning, I felt like a different person. I hadn't realized how much I was wilting indoors. Beyond regulating your body clock, sunlight exposure triggers vitamin D production in your skin. Vitamin D deficiency is extremely common among older adults. Some studies suggest up to 80% of seniors don't get enough. This deficiency is linked to fatigue, muscle weakness, mood changes, and cognitive issues. And no, taking a vitamin D supplement, while helpful, doesn't provide all the benefits of actual sunlight exposure. Natural outdoor light is also dramatically brighter than indoor lighting, even on a cloudy day. This brightness helps suppress daytime melatonin, the sleep hormone, and boost serotonin, a mood-regulating neurotransmitter, keeping you more alert and positive during the day. Then, there's the air quality factor. Indoor air is typically more polluted than outdoor air, with higher concentrations of CO2 and other compounds that can cause subtle cognitive impairment and fatigue. Simply breathing fresh outdoor air can give your brain a boost. One gentleman in Arizona shared his sunrise ritual with me. I get up early enough to watch the sun come up while I have my first cup of coffee on the patio. It's nothing fancy, just 15 minutes of quiet morning light. I used to think it was just a pleasant way to start the day, but when I skip it, I notice the difference immediately. My whole day feels off. For those with mobility limitations, even sitting by an open window or on a balcony counts. The key is direct exposure to natural daylight, especially in the morning hours when light has the strongest effect on your circadian rhythm. A retired nurse I know created what she calls light therapy on a budget after reading about expensive light therapy boxes. I rearranged my breakfast nook so I sit facing the east window while eating. The morning sun does more for my energy levels than that second cup of coffee ever did. Even on days when extended outdoor time isn't possible, brief exposures still help. A study found that just 10-15 minutes of morning sunlight had measurable effects on nighttime sleep quality and daytime energy levels in older adults. Remember, you don't need to hike a mountain or garden for hours to benefit from the outdoors. Simply sitting on a bench at a nearby park, taking a short walk around the block, or having your coffee on the porch can remind your body and spirit that you're still connected to the natural world. And that connection is a powerful energy source that no supplement can replace. 7. Your medications are making you tired. I'm on 5 different medications, Stanley told me during a health workshop, and I never connected the dots until my pharmacist mentioned that fatigue is a side effect of most of them. No wonder I feel like I'm moving through molasses all day. Medication-induced fatigue might be one of the most overlooked energy thieves for seniors. As we age, we tend to accumulate prescriptions. One for blood pressure, another for cholesterol, maybe something for reflux or joint pain. Each one serves an important purpose, but together they can create a perfect storm of exhaustion. What makes this particularly tricky is that doctors often prescribe medications one at a time, sometimes years apart, and rarely review your entire medication regimen as a unified system. Each doctor might be treating their specific concern without considering how all the medications interact together. Certain medication categories are notorious energy sappers. Blood pressure medications, especially beta blockers, can cause fatigue as they work to slow your heart rate and lower blood pressure. Antihistamines, even those in over-the-counter sleep aids or allergy medications, have sedating effects that can linger into the next day. Statins for cholesterol can cause muscle fatigue and weakness in some people. Some antidepressants, ironically, can make you feel more tired rather than lifting your mood. Medications for anxiety or insomnia often have residual sedating effects the following day. Anti-inflammatory drugs and pain medications can make you feel foggy and lethargic. The effect is compounded when these medications are taken together, creating what doctors call polypharmacy fatigue. One particularly telling story came from a 77-year-old woman who had been taking the same blood pressure medication for 15 years. "I just assumed feeling tired was part of getting older," she explained. "Then my new doctor suggested switching to a different blood pressure medication that tends to cause less fatigue. The difference was like night and day. I had been tired for years without realizing it was my medication, not my age." Another gentleman discovered that taking his diuretic medication at night instead of in the morning was causing him to wake up multiple times to use the bathroom, fragmenting his sleep. Once he switched to taking it in the morning, his sleep improved dramatically, and with it, his daytime energy. So what can you do about medication-induced fatigue? First, and most importantly, never stop or change any medication without consulting your healthcare provider. These medications were prescribed for good reasons. Instead, request a comprehensive medication review. Some call this a brown bag review. You literally put all your medications, including over-the-counter drugs and supplements, in a bag and bring them to your pharmacist or doctor. This allows them to see everything you're taking and evaluate potential interactions or cumulative side effects. Ask specifically about the timing of medications. Sometimes taking certain medications at different times of day can minimize fatigue. For instance, medications with stimulating effects are better taken in the morning, while those with sedating effects might be better at night. Inquire about alternative medications within the same class that might have fewer fatigue side effects. Pharmaceutical options are constantly evolving, and there might be newer alternatives with better side effect profiles. Consider a consultation with a geriatric pharmacist who specializes in medication management for older adults. They often catch issues that general practitioners might miss. A retired teacher shared her experience. "After my medication review, my doctor was able to eliminate 2 medications completely and reduce the dosage of another. It turned out I was still taking something that had been prescribed temporarily 3 years ago. Within weeks of adjusting my regimen, I felt like someone had turned up the brightness on the world." Remember, the goal isn't to stop necessary medications, but to ensure you're on the optimal regimen with the fewest side effects possible. Sometimes small adjustments can make an enormous difference in how you feel day to day. 8. You're running low on vital vitamins and minerals. "I eat well enough," Georgia told me, "so I assumed I was getting all the nutrients I need." Georgia, like many seniors, was surprised to discover through blood tests that she was significantly deficient in several key nutrients despite her seemingly adequate diet. The relationship between nutrient deficiencies and fatigue is powerful, yet often overlooked. Your body requires a complex array of vitamins and minerals to produce energy at the cellular level, and when these are in short supply, everything from your brain function to your muscle strength can be affected. Several factors make older adults particularly vulnerable to nutrient deficiencies. First, the aging digestive system becomes less efficient at absorbing nutrients from food. You could be eating the same healthy diet you enjoyed at 40, but at 70, you're extracting fewer nutrients from it. Second, many medications interfere with nutrient absorption or increase nutrient needs. For example, common acid reducers can decrease absorption of vitamin B12, calcium, and iron, while diuretics can deplete potassium and magnesium. Third, many seniors naturally eat less as their appetite diminishes, reducing their overall nutrient intake. The most common energy deficiencies I see include vitamin B12, critical for nerve function and red blood cell formation. B12 deficiency can cause profound fatigue, weakness, and cognitive changes that are sometimes mistaken for dementia. Up to 30% of older adults have some degree of B12 deficiency, often due to decreased stomach acid production, which is necessary for B12 absorption. Iron. Essential for carrying oxygen throughout your body, iron deficiency leads to anemia, which causes fatigue, weakness, and shortness of breath. Many seniors, especially women, are iron deficient without knowing it. Vitamin D, beyond its role in bone health, vitamin D influences energy metabolism and muscle function. Deficiency is extremely common in older adults, particularly those who spend limited time outdoors. Magnesium. This crucial mineral is involved in over 300 enzymatic reactions in the body, including those that produce energy. Deficiency causes fatigue, muscle weakness, and cramps. Many common foods are low in magnesium, and certain medications increase magnesium loss. Potassium. Essential for proper muscle and nerve function, potassium deficiency can cause weakness, fatigue, and muscle cramps. Many blood pressure medications increase potassium loss through urine. I met a gentleman who had been experiencing severe fatigue for years. Multiple doctors had dismissed it as normal aging. Finally, comprehensive blood work revealed severe B12 deficiency. After B12 injections to restore his levels, he said, "It was like someone flipped a switch. I had forgotten what it felt like to have energy. I thought those days were behind me forever." Another woman discovered her persistent afternoon slumps were related to low iron levels. "I've always had heavy periods, even approaching menopause," she explained. "No one told me this could be depleting my iron stores. Once I started supplementation, my energy returned within weeks." If you suspect nutrient deficiencies might be contributing to your fatigue, consider these steps. Ask your doctor for comprehensive blood work that includes not just the basics, but also vitamin D, B12, folate, iron studies, magnesium, and other key nutrients. Standard blood panels often don't include these tests unless specifically requested. Consider working with a dietitian who specializes in older adult nutrition. They can help you identify food-based strategies to increase your nutrient intake in ways that accommodate your preferences and any chewing or swallowing difficulties. Be aware that certain nutrients are better absorbed when taken with specific foods or at particular times. For instance, iron absorption is enhanced when taken with vitamin C, while calcium supplements can interfere with iron absorption. A registered nurse shared this simple but effective advice. "I tell my senior patients to eat the rainbow every day. Something red, orange, yellow, green, blue/purple, and white. This naturally increases the variety of nutrients they're consuming." Remember, while supplements can be helpful and sometimes necessary, they're not all created equal. Quality matters, and it's always best to work with a healthcare provider to determine which supplements you need and at what doses. 9. You've lost your spark, and that saps more energy than you think. Energy isn't just physical, it's emotional and spiritual too. When you lose your sense of purpose, passion, or connection, it affects your vitality in profound ways that no amount of sleep or nutrition can fully address. Leonard, a 79-year-old retired engineer, described it perfectly. "After I retired, I felt like I became invisible. No one was waiting for my input anymore. No deadlines, no projects, no sense that what I did mattered. I wasn't depressed exactly, but I felt flat, and that flatness made me tired all the time." What Leonard was experiencing wasn't unusual. Many seniors find themselves in a purpose vacuum, especially after retirement, loss of a spouse, or when health challenges limit previously enjoyed activities. Without something meaningful to engage your mind and heart, your body naturally conserves energy. Why generate vitality if there's nothing compelling to use it for? Psychologists call this existential fatigue, the weariness that comes from a lack of meaning or direction. It's not laziness or depression, though it can overlap with depression. It's your whole being telling you that something essential is missing. The good news is that rekindling your spark doesn't require grand gestures or dramatic life changes. Often it's the small, consistent sources of meaning that make the biggest difference to your energy levels. Maria found her spark through volunteering at an elementary school reading program one morning a week. "Those kids don't care that I'm 82 or that I move slowly," she told me. "They're just happy to have someone listen to them read. On the days I volunteer, I never need a nap. The other days, I'm nodding off by 2 p.m. For James, it was joining a model railroad club. I was just existing before, he explained. Now I have friends who share my passion, projects I'm working on, and something to look forward to. My wife says I'm like a different person on club days. More alive, more present. Sometimes the spark comes from creative expression. A former accountant discovered painting at 75 and found it transformative. I'm not good at it, she laughed. But it doesn't matter. When I'm painting, time disappears. I forget my arthritis, I forget my worries, and somehow I have more energy for everything else too. Others find meaning through mentoring, whether formally or informally. One retired teacher tutors his neighbor's children in math. They keep me sharp, he notes, and knowing I'm helping them succeed gives me a reason to get up with enthusiasm. Connection is another powerful source of energy. Regular social interaction, even brief conversations, stimulates neural pathways and triggers positive hormonal responses that counter fatigue. One study found that socially engaged seniors had higher energy levels and required less sleep than their more isolated peers. Curiosity itself can be revitalizing. A 90-year-old woman I met takes one online class every season through her local community college. Learning something new makes me feel alive, she told me. It reminds me I'm still growing, still capable of surprise. If you recognize this spark deficit in yourself, start small. Ask yourself what used to light you up before life got complicated. What activities made you lose track of time? What were you naturally good at? What did others come to you for? Sometimes the path forward isn't about finding something new, but reclaiming something you've lost touch with. Dust off old hobbies, reconnect with old friends, or adapt beloved activities to your current abilities. Remember that purpose doesn't have to be productive in the conventional sense. Connection, creativity, learning, service, appreciation of beauty, spiritual practice, all of these generate the kind of meaning that translates into vital energy. As one wise woman told me, having something to look forward to is the best vitamin I know. 10. Your breathing patterns are robbing you of oxygen. Here's something fascinating most people don't realize. The way you breathe directly impacts your energy levels, and many seniors have developed breathing patterns that actually keep them in a state of low-grade oxygen deprivation. I never thought about my breathing until my yoga teacher pointed out that I was a chest breather, shared Thomas, a 71-year-old retired lawyer. Apparently, I'd been taking shallow breaths for years without realizing it. Learning to breathe deeply again was like getting an energy transfusion. Breathing just the upper chest rather than the full lungs is extremely common, especially as we age. This breathing pattern triggers a subtle stress response in the body and fails to deliver optimal oxygen to your tissues. Since oxygen is essential for cellular energy production, even a small deficit can leave you feeling drained. Several factors contribute to poor breathing habits in older adults. Increasingly sedentary lifestyles mean we rarely breathe heavily enough to fully expand our lungs. Stress and anxiety promote shallow, rapid breathing. More posture compresses the diaphragm, limiting full lung expansion. Muscle tension in the chest and shoulders restricts breathing movements. Medical conditions like COPD or heart failure may cause people to subconsciously limit their breathing. The consequences of chronic shallow breathing extend beyond just feeling tired. It can contribute to brain fog, muscle tension, digestive problems, and even increased pain sensitivity, all of which further drain your energy. A respiratory therapist I interviewed explained it this way. Many seniors are walking around at 70–80% of their oxygen capacity without realizing it. It's like trying to run your car with the air filter clogged. You can still function, but you're not getting optimal performance. The good news is that breathing patterns can be improved with simple, consistent practice. Better yet, the benefits are often felt almost immediately. One simple exercise comes from a pulmonologist who works primarily with older patients. He calls it the 3-6-9 breath. Breathe in through your nose for a count of 3, hold for a count of 6, and exhale slowly through your mouth for a count of 9. Doing this for just 2 minutes a few times daily can help retrain your breathing pattern. A retired dance instructor shared her breathing ritual with me. Every morning, I stand by my open window, place my hands on my lower ribs, and take 10 slow, deep breaths, focusing on expanding my ribs to the sides like I'm inflating a balloon. I feel energized before I've even had my coffee. Another approach comes from a 77-year-old who uses what he calls posture breathing. He explained, "I notice I slouch more as I've gotten older, which compresses my lungs. Now, whenever I catch myself slouching, I sit up tall, take 3 deep breaths, and imagine oxygen flowing to every cell. It's an instant energy boost." For those with medical conditions affecting breathing, working with a respiratory therapist can be transformative. One woman with mild COPD told me, "The breathing exercises my therapist taught me have made more difference to my daily energy than my medications. I wish someone had shown me these techniques years ago." Even singing can improve breathing patterns. A man in a senior choir noted, "Since I started singing weekly, I've noticed I have more breath capacity for everything else. I used to get winded walking up my driveway, but not anymore." Your breath is the most fundamental source of energy for every cell in your body. By bringing conscious attention to how you breathe, you're addressing energy production at its most basic level, and that can make a remarkable difference in how you feel throughout the day. 11. Your digestive system isn't working efficiently. The connection between gut health and energy is profound, yet often overlooked, especially for seniors. Your digestive system isn't just about processing food. It's a complex ecosystem that can either support your energy levels or drain them. "I had resigned myself to feeling tired after every meal," shared Patricia, a 74-year-old retiree. "I thought it was normal to need a nap after lunch. Then my doctor suggested some digestive enzymes, and suddenly I wasn't getting that after-meal energy crash anymore." As we age, our digestive systems undergo several changes that can impact energy production. We produce fewer digestive enzymes, making it harder to break down foods and absorb their nutrients. Stomach acid production often decreases, affecting protein digestion and nutrient absorption. The gut microbiome, the community of beneficial bacteria in our intestines, can become less diverse. Intestinal motility may slow down, leading to constipation and bloating. Food sensitivity sometimes develop or worsen with age. When your digestive system struggles, it diverts energy from the rest of your body to manage the challenging process of breaking down food. This is why many people experience post-meal fatigue. Their bodies are essentially saying, "All hands on deck for digestion." One retired nurse I interviewed had a revelation after keeping a food energy diary for 2 weeks. "I noticed I always felt exhausted after meals containing dairy," she explained. "I wasn't lactose intolerant in any obvious way, no digestive distress, but the fatigue was unmistakable. When I eliminated dairy, my afternoon energy improved dramatically." Another common issue is unnecessary digestive overload. Many of us were taught to eat 3 substantial meals daily, but as our activity levels decrease with age, this pattern can overwhelm our digestive capacity. A nutritionist who specializes in senior health told me, "Many of my older clients do better with 4 or 5 smaller meals rather than 3 large ones. It keeps their energy more stable and doesn't overtax their digestive systems." Hydration plays a crucial role too. Adequate fluid intake is essential for proper digestion and prevention of constipation, which itself can cause fatigue and malaise. A retired physicist shared his strategy. "I take a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar in water about 15 minutes before meals. It seems to help with digestion, and I've noticed I have more energy in the hours after eating." While not scientifically proven for everyone, this approach helps stimulate digestive juices for some people. Probiotics are another approach worth considering. These beneficial bacteria support gut health and may improve digestive efficiency. One gentleman told me, "I started making my own sauerkraut after reading about fermented foods. Within a month, my digestion improved, and I noticed I had more consistent energy throughout the day." For those with specific digestive challenges, digestive enzymes can be helpful. These supplements provide the enzymes your body may no longer produce in sufficient quantities, a woman with chronic pancreatitis explained. Taking pancreatic enzymes with meals changed my life. I'm actually getting the nutrition from my food now instead of just watching it pass through. Mindful eating practices also support better digestion. Eating slowly, chewing thoroughly, and minimizing distractions during meals all help your digestive system work more efficiently. One meditation teacher I interviewed recommended what she calls the 5-breath practice before meals. Taking 5 deep breaths before starting to eat helps activate the parasympathetic nervous system, which optimizes digestive function. If digestive issues are significantly affecting your energy, consider consulting with a gastroenterologist or a dietitian who specializes in digestive health for older adults. Sometimes simple adjustments to what, when, and how you eat can make a remarkable difference in your energy levels throughout the day. 12. Chronic inflammation is burning through your energy reserves. Inflammation is your body's natural response to injury and infection. It's essential for healing. But when inflammation becomes chronic and systemic, it essentially creates an energy crisis in your body. My doctor kept telling me my blood tests were normal, but I knew something was wrong, explained Robert, a 69-year-old retired teacher. I was exhausted all the time, had achy joints, and just felt off. Finally, a rheumatologist tested my inflammatory markers and discovered they were through the roof. Addressing the inflammation changed everything. Chronic inflammation is like having a low-grade fire burning throughout your body, consuming valuable energy resources that would otherwise fuel your daily activities. It's particularly common in older adults due to a phenomenon scientists call inflaging, the natural increase in inflammatory processes that occurs with aging. Several factors contribute to chronic inflammation in seniors. Accumulated exposure to environmental toxins, it's a tourism topic, long-term stress, sedentary lifestyle, so poor sleep quality, gum disease, imbalanced gut bacteria, chronic infections, autoimmune conditions, diet high in inflammatory foods. What makes inflammation particularly insidious is that you might not have obvious symptoms beyond fatigue. Unlike the acute inflammation that causes redness and swelling after an injury, chronic inflammation often flies under the radar, silently draining your energy. A functional medicine doctor I interviewed explained it this way. Imagine your body's energy as a financial budget. Inflammation is like having an unknown subscription service deducting a significant amount from your account every month. You keep wondering why you're short on funds, when the real issue is this hidden drain. The good news is that there are multiple ways to address chronic inflammation and reclaim your energy. Anti-inflammatory diet approaches have shown remarkable results for many older adults. These typically emphasize abundant, colorful vegetables and fruits rich in antioxidants, omega-3 fatty acids from fish, walnuts, and flax seeds, olive oil and other healthy fats, herbs and spices like turmeric, ginger, and garlic, limited refined carbohydrates, sugars, and processed foods. One woman shared her experience. I was skeptical about diet making a difference to my energy levels and joint pain, but after 6 weeks of following an anti-inflammatory eating plan, I felt like someone had turned up the dimmer switch on my energy. Colors seemed brighter. I could think more clearly. Even my joint pain was noticeably better. Regular, gentle movement helps reduce inflammation. A retired mail carrier explained, I walk for 20 minutes every morning and evening, nothing strenuous. When I skip a few days, I notice my energy drops and my old aches return. Movement is medicine. Stress management is crucial since stress hormones promote inflammation. Mindfulness practices, Tai Chi, yoga, and even simple breathing exercises can help lower stress, inflammation. One gentleman told me, daily meditation hasn't made my problems disappear, but it's changed how my body responds to them. I'm less inflamed, less tense, and definitely less tired. Quality sleep is essential for controlling inflammation. During deep sleep, your body produces compounds that help resolve inflammatory processes. Improving sleep hygiene can significantly impact inflammation levels. Some people benefit from targeted supplements with anti-inflammatory properties, such as omega-3s, curcumin from turmeric, or specialized enzyme formulations. A former nurse practitioner shared, adding a high-quality omega-3 supplement made a noticeable difference to my energy levels within a month. If you suspect chronic inflammation might be behind your fatigue, consider asking your doctor about testing inflammatory markers such as C-reactive protein, CRP, erythrocyte sedimentation rate, ESR, or more comprehensive inflammatory panels available through functional medicine practitioners. Addressing chronic inflammation doesn't usually produce overnight results. It's more like slowly turning down the dimmer switch on a process that's been running in the background for years. But many people report that as inflammation decreases, their energy steadily returns, often to levels they hadn't experienced in years. 13. You might just need more joy. After all the physiological factors we've explored, we come to perhaps the most overlooked energy source of all: joy. It might sound simplistic, but the absence of delight, pleasure, and play in your daily life creates an energy deficit that no amount of sleep or proper nutrition can fully overcome. I was doing everything right, Charlotte, a meticulous 81-year-old, told me. Perfect diet, regular exercise, all my supplements, plenty of sleep. But I was still dragging through my days. Then my granddaughter gave me a puppy, against my initial protests, and suddenly I had energy I hadn't felt in years. That little ball of fur reminded me how to laugh. Joy isn't just a pleasant emotional state. It creates actual physiological changes in your body that directly impact your energy levels. It triggers the release of endorphins, your body's natural energy boosters, and reduces stress hormones like cortisol that can drain your vitality. It activates the parasympathetic nervous system, allowing for better rest and recovery. It improves immune function, reducing the energy drain of fighting off illnesses. It creates a sense of anticipation, which motivates movement and engagement. As we age, joy often gets crowded out by responsibilities, health concerns, losses, and the subtle societal message that seriousness is somehow more appropriate for older adults. We forget that playfulness and delight are not childish. They're profoundly human needs that remain important throughout our entire lives. I realized I had become all maintenance and no joy, shared a 75-year-old retired accountant. My days were filled with medications, doctor appointments, exercise routines, healthy meals, all the things I was supposed to do to take care of myself. But I wasn't enjoying anything anymore. I was maintaining a car, but never taking it for a drive. So how do you bring joy back when it's been absent for a while? Start by remembering what used to delight you before life got complicated. What made you lose track of time? What made you laugh until your sides hurt? What filled you with wonder? Sometimes joy needs to be scheduled at first, especially if you're out of practice. One woman created what she calls her joy appointments, specific times each week dedicated to activities that bring her pleasure, whether that's working in her garden, calling an old friend for a long chat, or watching classic comedies. Music is a particularly powerful joy trigger for many people. A retired music teacher who volunteers at a senior center told me, "When we put on music from someone's youth, they physically transform before my eyes. People who were slumped in wheelchairs sit up straight, their eyes brighten, they start moving to the rhythm. The effect on their energy is immediate and remarkable." Nature connection is another reliable source of joy. Studies show that even brief exposure to natural settings can elevate mood and energy levels. One gentleman makes a point of visiting different parks each week. I call them my joy pilgrimages. Sometimes I just sit on a bench for 30 minutes watching squirrels or listening to bird songs. I always leave feeling more alive. Creative expression often reignites joy. A woman who joined a senior art class with no previous experience told me, "It's not about making good art. It's about playing with colors and shapes without worrying about doing it right. It's the most freeing thing I've done in decades." Laughter is perhaps the most direct route to joy-based energy. A retired physician shared his prescription. "I watch at least 15 minutes of comedy every day. On days I forget, my wife can tell because my energy is lower. Laughter isn't just pleasant, it's medicine." Connection with others, particularly across generations, can spark joy in unique ways. One grandfather volunteers at his grandchildren's school. Those kids don't care about my arthritis or my hearing aids. They just want to show me their drawings and tell me about their day. Being around their unfiltered enthusiasm is like plugging into a power source. Remember that joy doesn't require grand gestures or perfect circumstances. It can be found in small pleasures. The first sip of morning coffee, the warmth of sunlight through a window, a favorite song, a text from a loved one, or even the satisfaction of completing a crossword puzzle. As one wise woman told me, joy isn't just the icing on the cake. It's the essential ingredient that makes life worth the effort. Without it, even perfect health feels hollow. Bringing it all together, your path to renewed energy. We've covered a lot of ground, haven't we? From the hidden dehydration that's making your brain foggy, to the joy deficit that's dampening your spirit's natural vitality. Each of these 13 factors offers a piece of the energy puzzle that so many seniors are trying to solve. The beautiful thing about this list is that none of these energy thieves is a permanent condition. Unlike the inevitable physical changes that come with aging, these are factors you can actually influence, and you don't need to tackle them all at once. Even addressing just one or two can create noticeable improvements in how you feel day to day. Maybe you'll start with proper hydration, setting little reminders throughout the day to sip water. Or perhaps you'll experiment with adding more protein to your breakfast to see how it affects your morning energy. Maybe you'll schedule that medication review you've been putting off, or commit to spending 15 minutes each morning sitting in the sunshine. The key is to approach these changes with curiosity rather than obligation. Adding one more should to your list won't energize you. It might actually do the opposite. Instead, think of these as experiments, opportunities to discover what helps your unique body and circumstances. As you make these small changes, pay attention to subtle shifts in how you feel. Energy improvements often come gradually, like dawn breaking rather than a light switch flipping. You might notice you're not reaching for that afternoon nap quite as often, or that your mind feels sharper during conversations, or that you're waking up with a bit more anticipation for the day ahead. Remember that energy is deeply personal. What revitalizes one person might exhaust another. The retired teacher who finds joy in volunteering with children might be overwhelmed by that same activity if she's an introvert who recharges in solitude. Honor your own nature as you explore these pathways to renewed vitality. Also, keep in mind that our energy needs and challenges evolve with time. What works for you today might need adjustment next year as your circumstances change. This isn't a one-time fix, but an ongoing conversation with your body, mind, and spirit about what they need to thrive in this chapter of your life. If there's one message I hope you take from all this, it's that feeling tired all the time is not an inevitable part of aging. It's often a signal that something specific needs attention, whether that's your hydration status, your sleep quality, your nutrient levels, your medication regimen, or your connection to purpose and joy. You deserve to feel vibrant, engaged, and energized, no matter your age. The golden years should actually feel golden, full of warmth, light, and the energy to embrace what matters most to you. If this information has been helpful to you, please consider giving this video a thumbs up and subscribing to the channel. And if you know someone who's been struggling with unexplained fatigue, share this video with them. Sometimes the greatest gift we can give each other is the knowledge that things can be better, that what we've accepted as normal might actually be quite changeable. I'd love to hear in the comments which of these energy thieves resonated most with you, or any strategies you've discovered that help maintain your vitality. We're all exploring this journey together, and your insights might be exactly what someone else needs to hear. Take care of yourself, not just with the basics of survival, but with the ingredients for genuine thriving. Your energy matters, your vitality matters, and the world needs whatever unique gifts you bring when you're feeling your most vibrant self. Until next time, here's to more energy, more joy, and more life in your years.